So yeah, I started 25 years ago. It was 1985, and like many things in life, I consider myself a lucky person. Sometimes you have to be at the right time in the right spot. So I was a young fellow in sport medicine in Italy, and just finished my fellowship in 1985. And Europe sport medicine is not exactly the same that we have in the United States. Now I know because I've been practicing in the United States for 11 years. So I know even better than when I came over. But say in the United States, sport medicine, pretty much you are a musculoskeletal doctor. So you deal with injuries. Shoulder is everything that is musculoskeletal, but is not surgical. And in Europe is kind of different. We do 4-year fellowship, in which we do 2 years of cardiology, 2 years of pulmonology, and we do 4 years of sport nutrition, sport training, and performance enhancement in the legal side. At least at the beginning. Then something happened down the road and they got an exception. But that is the philosophy. So you have to be a doctor that knows about performance and consider the subject as an individual. So sports science studies group. So we take the average of the VO2 max here, the average of the age, the average 35, 40-year-old has a VO2 max of so much. But that doesn't have anything to do with my VO2 max or his VO2 max. So sport medicine is applying the sport science to individual, because you deal with subjects that carry a history of disease, some known, some unknown. So there are diseases that are silent, for example. So as a sport doctor, you kind of modulate the science, the theory to the practice. That's why in Italy, a lot of trainers, physicians, not only in Italy, Spain is the same. In Italy, the coach for a cross-country ski team, the rowing team, are all MDs like me. They did the same training, MD first, then 4 years sport science, sport medicine. So when I started, I was really into training. In the early 80s, those were the years in which in Italy, there was kind of a revolution in cycling. Some early scientists, they were applied scientists, started to look at cycling like a sport that was way behind other sports. I was working with rowers, cross-country skiers, track and field athletes, marathoners. Bourdin won Seoul 88, so we were working with these people in the marathon. And we saw this big thing at my university. So the cyclists were just riding, while the other sport were organizing their training based on the model for their sport. So what it takes to be a good cyclist. You need to have, good aerobic quality. You need to have some kind of muscle quality, mainly muscle endurance. You don't really need to be that strong. You don't have to win the Olympic lifting. So we start to look at the physiological model of cyclists. I did my dissertation on that. I was lucky to get a grant from the Italian government to do the profile of the professional cyclists. So I had 100 cyclists, pro cyclists. They had to come to see me 3 times a year because it was part of the grant. The Italian at the time was coming out with the local Athletic Performance Protection Act. There was basically was setting rules for professional athletes, which kind of care the teams had to provide to the athletes to prevent sudden cardiac death, but also. So I was right at the right time, and while I was doing the thing, I got a call. My chair showed up in the lab. Say, I've got the team 7-Eleven, American team doing the Giro. Apparently they show up with no doctor, so someone of you guys have to go cover it. And I was the youngest. There were 2 docs who were a few years older than me, and one of these guys that knew a lot about cycling was in fact, it was already the doctor for Atala. It was a historical team in Italy those years. So I jumped on the chair. No way! They can't ride the bike. This American team is crazy. I saw them at this race here. They were causing crashes. They're kamikazes. That was the nickname of 7-Eleven when we started on the Italian newspaper. The kamikazes. Not the Italians are coming. The kamikazes. So wow. So the doctor, there was a nice guy, but was always a little scared about everything. Goes, oh no. If it's like that, I don't want to go. So I was left at my chair. So, what about you? You're young. You can go. I said, okay. And I didn't speak any English. And now it's bad, but at that time was really nothing. That was 25 years ago. So because I grew up speaking French as second language, where most of the people in my age in the northern Italy. So I go down, I show up in Verona, Italy in 1985. I have an EKG machine because that is what I was trained to make sure that they're all healthy. Tie and jacket, and I go to this hotel and nobody's there. So they went, some people are shopping here, someone shopping. That was the day before the Tour of Italy. The Italian team were already legs up, relaxing. This guy were out shopping. And so, oh, it's a strange team we have here. And because my only knowledge of cycling and cyclists were the Italian cyclists that in those years were really kind of very conservative, you know, they always come with the dress with the team clothing, kind of shy personalities. The Italian cyclists in those years normally are coming from low mid class, you know, so wow, this is a different thing. So I said, well, you know, maybe there is someone at the second floor because there is one of the staff is still up there. So I give me the number of the room, I go up, and before knocking, there is this noise coming from inside like rock and roll music, like a party, but really loud. So I knock, but nobody can hear me. So I open the door, I walk in, and the first thing I see, there is this nice patio outside with a muscular guy on the massage table. That was Davis Finney. And a blonde girl with a miniskirt, jeans miniskirt, and the top of a bikini give you a massage. Wow, so I said, oh, I shut the door. I said, these are people, maybe honeymoon kind of. I never, at that time, that was the very first massage therapist, female massage therapist in professional cycling. She made history. Shelly University from California. She's still doing great in California. Nice lady. But, wow, so then she ran to the door. Oh, are you the doctor? Yeah, we're waiting for you. So I go, wow, this is a cool team, you know. Then, while I'm there trying to explain in Italian, French, with some, what I would like to do with the EKG machine, and they look at me, EKG machine. I remember Davis Finney said, I went to the Olympics. They never did that to me. I'm an athlete. I'm healthy. He said, yeah, but you know, athletes actually die more than not athletes when they're below age 35 for sudden cardiac death. And so they were they looked at me like suspicious at that point. Then while we're talking, another guy, even bigger than the first one, walks in. This was really muscular, like Bill, like, you know, was Eric Heiden, the speed skater. Then 85 was like trim, but 85 kilos of muscles, you know. And if you do a search, I was trying to find a picture of him in those years for this presentation. And if you do a search for Eric Heiden, even before you finish to type Heiden, comes out Eric Heiden legs. So that's probably the most research point, because Eric had these legs that were unheard about in cycling. 65 centimeters legs, while a normal cyclist is 52, so 20% bigger. And some cyclists have big legs. And the MC had 48. So I leg like this, Eric had legs like this. So one night I see this guy walking in, he said, I'm Eric, I'm Max. I never heard the name Eric Heiden. I have to admit, you know, I told him, so he knows now. But you know, in 1985, for an Italian, in Italy, they didn't show speed skating on television. We didn't have speed skating in Italy. So at the Olympics, we're seeing cross-country skiing, alpine skiing, bobsled. I didn't know it of a sport, speed skating, as an Olympic sport. So I said, oh, Eric, but I don't, and automatically I associated him to be a soigneur because it was too big. It was like two times thicker than the average cycle. So next morning I'm at the start, and I got this Italian journalist that come by and say, hey, are you the doctor with the American team? I say, yes. So, but you're Italian? I say, yes. So tell me about Eric. What about it? I already looked at the names, you know, and I knew that the only Eric was that guy that I met. I knew that was a soigneur, already associated. So, yeah, say the soigneur? No, the cyclist, Eric Heiden. And that very moment, Eric goes by, dressed with number, I think it was 85, with the 7-11 jersey, goes by with the other 3 or 4 eyes. That guy. Oh, he's a writer? The doctor? You don't even know that this guy. No, this guy's a big deal. Say, oh, yeah, I can see it's a big deal. What's suspicious? Hey, this guy won 5 gold medals. All the gold medals at the Winter Olympics in 1982 or 80 or 82? 80. And yeah, I know Eric for 25 years, still don't remember when he won the Olympics. And he said, oh, in which sport? And he said, you know, you don't know, he won 5 medals in speed skating. In skating. I said, skating? That guy's a figure skater? That's the only understanding I had about skating. So that was not a big deal. The problem is that then the journalist did an interview with Eric, and he told him right away, you know, Eric, I want to talk to you. You're the Giro, big name, coming to the Giro, first American team to race in the three-week stage race in Europe. But you know, there is something wrong here because your doctor thinks that you're a figure skater. So Eric came to my room and hey, I was actually said, you know, I started as a figure skater with my sister. But after 1 year, the coach told my wife that, my mom, that was okay, we're not coming back. Because we never did the practice. We're just chasing each other on the side. So that was Eric Cadden. Eric was very instrumental, not only to put together the 7-11 team, that was the first American team to come as a team to race in Europe. To that point, some American riders race in Europe as individual, Jonathan Boyer, Mike Neal, but never a team before with the structure and the sponsor based in the United States came to Europe. So it was kind of, we were very naive. I keep telling everybody, and you know, you talk to those guys, Bob Roll, Eric, Chris Carmichael. We had an amazing lineup. Now, at that time, everybody was unknown. You know, we got Jonathan Boyer, we got Keith Valentino, David Spinney, Eric Hayden, Jonathan, Chris Carmichael, Jeff Pierce. So we had an amazing Bradley. So all these guys, Tom Schuler, made history in one way or the other. You know, Jeff became the first American to win the stage in Champs-Élysées. Andy Hamilton, up today, is still the only American ever that won the Tour of Italy. And so we were a good group of young people. I was the same age of the riders. I was 26. So for me, it was like, you know, a perfect situation. That's why I say I was lucky, because I had all this theory about start to do some training that was based on, you know, a physiological model, training the energetic mechanisms, training the biomechanics of cycling specifically. While in those years, still the emphasis, at least for cyclists, was just general fitness. So they were riding. I was asking Andy Amsden, I remember the first time we talked about training, so how you train? He said, by riding my bike in summer, by skiing and snowshoeing or trail running in winter. And he said, but how long you do that in winter? So it depends how much snow we have in Colorado. So there was no planning, no periodization, nothing. The Italians were doing the same. I mean, there were, I had some at the time. So I knew well some of the Italian riders, even the big guys. They were stopping riding the bike after Tour of Lombardy, not touching the bike till after Christmas. So 2 months they were just hiking, low intensity, everything low intensity. They were using the fixed gear eventually to start with, and the concept was just easy. The first 500 kilometers, 300 miles, fixed gear on the flat, 39, 17, 18, sometimes 19, so very easy. Then you start to increase the volume on the road bike, and you do 3 hours, 4 hours, but easy, 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 never hard. And then they were doing Milan-San Remo pretty much after one training camp in which they were hammering each other. There was the race simulation part of training, that's it. So the condition was coming with racing. That's why, you know, in those years, the best riders were racing so much, like Eddie Merckx. You know, now we say riders today are not as fun as the riders in the 70s or in the 80s. Because at that time, if you remember, you had Eddie Merckx racing everything, from the Classic till the Vuelta. I mean, the Vuelta at the time was in April, till Tour of Lombardy. Not only was racing 110 races a year, he was winning probably 80 of those. So now the riders, they pick up races, so you don't see this competition. You know, the Giro, maybe Cadel wins, and then they challenge again the same riders at the Tour. That doesn't happen, but that is not going to happen.